Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. This is the preview for Manchester United versus Leicester. Jay is still in Barcelona, soaking up the rays after the draw the other night.
He didn't get caught celebrating Rashford's goal.
He zipped his thing up and he zipped it back up. But we've got another game to worry about now. We've got 3 games this week. One is against Leicester to close the gap between them two at the top. One is against Barcelona to decide if we go through to the next round. And one is the League Cup final next week. It's a massive week for Manchester United. This preview is brought to you by BetMate. We'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute.
And you want to see my team because last time I did BetMate, I won the thing.
You did well, didn't you?
I won it.
How big is this week? And how important is it that we don't overlook Leicester? This is me putting my hands around the week and suggesting.
If that's the girth you're starting at,
yeah.
How big is this week? I'd say there.
That's big, isn't it?
Pretty girthy.
Are you worried? Are you nervous? Are you excited?
No, I wasn't nervous about the Nou Camp game. I'm not nervous about... in fact, I'm more nervous for this Leicester game than I am the Barcelona game. I don't know whether it's because I feel like the Premier League's more important to me. But, yeah, there's an expectation that we win these games, you know what I mean? And I think that expectation comes from performances like the one we showed at the Nou Camp, because we've shown we're a good team. Now, you've obviously got the addition of the likes of Lisandro Martinez coming back. Sabitzer will be available. Casemiro won't be for the game against Leicester, unfortunately. But we go into that game, and despite the fact Leicester have won 4-1 in their last game against Spurs, unless they've played midweek and I've not noticed, then despite the fact they've had that form and they're playing really well, we go into it thinking, we should beat them at home. And I wouldn't even be surprised if the manager rested a few where he could ahead of that. Because you got to think, the Barcelona game comes, Casemiro's going to start in that game, and he's going to be expected to start in the Newcastle game. There's like 2 days in between those games.
Yeah. 2 full days.
Friday and Saturday between those 2 games. Friday would be a warm down day, maybe a massage and all that. Saturday would be a training session. So there's not going to be much crossover time. So we're going to have to manage people's minutes over this week.
Do you think we've got enough to win these 3 games, or we'd need to be 3 wins, wouldn't it?
Yes. Have we got enough to win these 3 games over the next week? Yes. Yeah. Have we got enough to compete on all 4 fronts over the course of a season? We'd need a little bit of luck. Yeah. Because even if you look at, we can't rely on Anthony Martial as a striker being fit at the moment.
No.
Weghorst isn't returning a huge amount of goals. Yeah. Rashford's scoring regularly, but if something happened to Rashford, you'd worry about where the goals are going to come from. Yeah. If something happened long-term to Casemiro, you'd worry about our midfield, especially now we haven't got Eriksen. So we still have massive holes in the squad, but we're a proper team again. Yeah.
Just back to Rashford for a second, because you said it as soon as he scored. You said that's equaled his best return ever for United. 22 goals. It's only mid-February, and really, if it was any other season, we've played the same amount of games as we would have by end of January. Yeah, we've missed a few weeks because of the World Cup. This isn't just the best form of his career. This is the best form of anyone in the world at the moment. How good has he been? And are you surprised? Do you think he can go to another level, or would you just like to see him stay like this and keep scoring those goals? Because he's unbelievable, really, isn't he?
What do you mean? I think there's room for improvement.
That's what I'm saying.
But I think he's playing better than he ever has played. And if he stayed at this level for the rest of his career, it's not a bad player, you know what I mean? Yeah. I think right now he's one of the best players in Europe on form. And even if you look at ability, he's got everything in his locker. He's added head into his game this season. You look at the skill for his goal, for the assist kind of goal at the Nou Camp. Yeah. You look at his goal. You just look at their range of his goal against City, his goal against Arsenal, his goal against Leeds with his head. They're all different kind of goals. He's scoring them from everywhere. He's playing on the right, he's playing on the left, he's playing through the middle. I don't think that's a bad thing for a striker either. Being able to play in all 3 of those positions nowadays. So Marcus Rashford's immense. And right now you wouldn't swap him for anyone on the planet. No, it's mad, isn't it? Because it got to the point where last season people were saying that some of the players he was being compared to, and people saying that you wouldn't have him over St. Maximin or players like that, where he was being compared to these inconsistent, they're never going to be top players type players. And now
the comparisons are back with Mbappe. The comparisons are back with Haaland in terms of output and you know numbers. He scored more and been involved in more goals this season than anyone, I think. It's just amazing, isn't it? Let's move on to our predicted 11s then, because you said we might see a little bit of rotation. What are you expecting? What's your starting 11 for this one?
It was really difficult doing this. Obviously, we're doing it before the press conference.
Yeah.
But doing this, I found it really hard. I've gone with David De Gea in goal, Shaw, Martinez, Varane, Delot. But again, I wouldn't be surprised to see Varane rested.
Yeah, like we saw against Leeds.
But I think Maguire's performance the other day wasn't great, and I think the manager will look at... I was about to say Fergie. I think the manager will look at that and go, I don't know if I want to play him. Yep. You know what I mean? Especially against Iheanacho. So I've gone with Varane, Martinez, Shaw, back at left back. Delot at right back, rest Aaron Wan-Bissaka.
Yep.
Sabitzer, Fred, Bruno, Garnacho, Weghorst and Rashford. The reason I've gone with Garnacho is because I just think something will be changed in that front line.
Yeah.
Probably Sancho, just to give him, bring him back off the bench and let him build up that fitness. But it was difficult to pick it, which is a good thing. Yeah,
it's difficult at the minute because we've got 13, 14, 15 players who are all in decent form. Garnacho and Sancho and Weghorst, you can see any movement in any of those three. My team's pretty similar to yours. The only real difference is I have gone with that Maguire change. I think he might want to rest Varane again because they're big games, and we know Varane's spoken out when he retired from international football, talking about how much the toll of playing every week, twice a week, is taken on him. So I think he's the one who we'll see there. But otherwise, yeah, I've gone with the same team again that we saw in the new camp. The only other change is I've brought Martinez back in and then taken Malacia out, put Shaw back on the left-hand side. But it's good. Me and Jay saw this the other week where we have 8, 9 or 10 players are always the same because you know roughly what it's going to be. There's none of this like, I'm scared, I don't know what we're going to see, we need to change it every week. He's got his guys that he likes and he plays them week in, week out. And so far, it's working. I mean, like I said, we're competing on 4 fronts and no one else is doing that. So, yeah, I don't see any reason to change it.
So far, so good.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to the opposition then. Leicester, a team that up until 2 weeks ago, you would have said are one of the most underperforming, most disappointing teams of the season. A team that was consistently fighting for top 4 and now is fighting relegation. But they've just had that bit of a 3 wins in a row.
Madison out of that team and they're a different team.
That's true. But Madison's, and beating Tottenham 4-1, a Tottenham side that was supposedly sort of on the way back up after what they did to Manchester City. That was a big result, wasn't it? Are you scared of Leicester, or do you think they're still the team they were 3 weeks ago?
I'm still wary of Leicester.
Yeah.
Spurs are really bad though.
Yeah,
I think you got to remember, and Leicester have been very up and down this season, as has been shown by the results. I mean, they lose against Forest, I think that's 2-0. But a good result against Brighton. They beat Villa, they beat Spurs. So you kind of don't know what to expect with this team. They've got a few good players here. Nacho looks like he's in good form, and then obviously I think James Maddison's their best player and most important player. If we can lock him off, then I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I think he's the one, and I just...
The likes of Harvey Barnes is danger.
My worry with Leicester is, do you know that game under Solskjaer? It was about a week before, or 2 weeks before the Liverpool 5-0, or 5, whatever it was, 5-0, wasn't it? We lost 4-1 away. And they did to us what Liverpool did 2 weeks later, but just on a sort of lesser scale. On their day, they can 4-1.
We're a different team now.
Do you think that's my hope? But I still have that bit of shit. I remember 18 months ago when they pasted us.
We can't play like we did against Leeds at Old Trafford, though.
That's true. Yeah, definitely not.
Or even at Ellen Road. We were bad at Ellen Road as well.
Yeah, not good. We need a bit more control. Let's move on to BetMate then. BetMate is the sponsor of the preview, and if you use our code Paddock10, you get £10 worth of free bets when you enter any paid pot. BetMate is the head-to-head fantasy football app. You pick your team, I pick my team. Whoever does better, whoever scores more points wins. It's that simple. Didn't you finish top last time?
Won like £100 the other time, yeah.
That is ridiculous.
The Palace Man United game.
You've done very well there.
Did well. Elise's goal won me points.
Oh, disgusting. Betting against Manchester United.
Well, you have to.
That's the thing.
You have to put some other players in.
You have to put minimum of one
to mix it up.
Opposition player in. And the good thing as well with BetMate is it's not just goals and clean sheets. It's tackles, it's interceptions, it's detailed stats powered by Opta, so you get a more well-rounded betting experience. Let me look at your team first of all then.
So this week I've picked David De Gea in goal, Martinez, Luke Shaw. Gone for the lefties. Bruno, James Maddison. I think Bruno's going to score in this game. And then I've gone with Kelechi Iheanacho and Marcus Rashford.
See, you only have to have one Leicester player, but you put two in. You like those two, don't you?
No, you have to have more, don't you?
No, you only have to have one in the starting lineup.
Oh, in the start, yeah, I know. But just hedge your bets. If Iheanacho scores, then, you know.
Because that's the thing. Basically, you know that Rashford's the only one scoring for United. So I've got Rashford in as well in my team. I've gone with De Gea. I've also gone with Shaw and Martinez as well, with Bruno Fernandes, Sancho, Rashford and Martial. Because he sounds a bit like Anthony Martial, so I thought, let's get him in. It's basically having 7 United players. So there's my team there. You've got to have Rashford as captain as well. You've gone Bruno, but you get an extra point.
I'll be honest, I'm going to change my captain because I didn't realise I selected those.
Well, that's the great thing. It's almost like we've done this on purpose. You can change your BetMate team up to 5 minutes before kickoff. So if some of these players aren't playing, some of these aren't starting, you can change it and get it sorted. It's that simple. Thank you to BetMate for sponsoring again. Use the code Paddock10 for a £10 free bet when you enter any paid pot. And they're also doing freebie February as well. So every time you enter a pot, you get a free entry to another pot. You couldn't really ask for any more, could you? Free pots, mate. Not that kind of pot. Right, let's move on to score predictions. As Jay likes to say, with all that being said, what's the score?
3-1 Man United.
That's the Abdul score prediction. He says that every single time. But now you're taking it off him.
My name's not Abdul, I'm Adam. You do know that.
I did know that, yeah.
Okay, just check it.
Who's scoring?
Sorry, Joe. Rashford.
Yeah.
He's going to get his greatest ever goal scoring tally. Luke Shaw.
Oof.
And Sancho's coming off the bench and scoring.
Yeah. I'd like a little Sancho piece. I think it's going to be really hard. I'm going to go 1-0 United. I think we need to be defensively sound again, because as much as I enjoyed that Barcelona game, conceding 18 shots, you know, that amount of tally against United, or that tally against United, is something I'd rather not repeat every week. So I'm going to go 1-0 Manchester United. I think it'll be Bruno Fernandes with a penalty that wins the game. Thank you very much.
Actually, wait, I thought Bruno was going to score. Yeah, Bruno was going to score.
Okay.
Instead of Luke Shaw.
Brilliant. Get your score predictions in the comments below, and also get your phone out, film yourself, landscape like that, with your score prediction. 30 seconds video, simple as that. Who's going to score? Make sure you got
see some of these that we receive.
Certainly the t-shirt on, if nothing else. Let us know what you think the score is going to be, and send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com, and we will feature you on the start of the watch along. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for coming on, Adam. It's going to be another win. That's great, isn't it? We both think we're going to win.
We're going to win this. We're going to beat Barca, and then we're going to win a trophy. What a week this is going to be. You can follow it all here.
Stretford Paddock. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you in a bit.